Hello everybody, welcome back to Sports Card Connections. Today we are going to be looking at my 1968 Topps Baseball signed cards for those that do through the mail autographs. Been working on these for a long time. The set is not complete. It's not going to be complete. I'm not going to pay the huge money one would need to get Roberto Clemente or Mickey Mantle. What I tried to do is get one signature for every player and manager in the set, so I didn't worry about combo cards, leader cards, anything like that. So what it can help for too, if you are interested in getting signed cards from some of these players that are no longer with us, you can take a look here and get a good comparison as to what their autograph looks like. If you're looking at a card online, most of these were gotten in the 1980s. Some I'm still getting back recently, but a lot of these guys are gone. So this is as, you could only buy a card signed a long time ago. And just to make sure it's legit, I think all these are except for two, which are questionable, and I'll mention those when I get to them. So here we go. Without any further ado, I've shown a few of these on the channel before last year in connection with an autograph challenge I was doing, but I'm going to go through them all in a couple of videos, so you can see the ones I've gotten and see if it's a player or a card you were interested in getting signed. So here we go. We'll start it off with Sal Bando, the Athletics third baseman. This was his first regular card. He's on a 67 rookie card. Followed by Byron Brown of the Cubs. Brown was tough. I only got him last year as he had moved and I never had a good address. A lot of these I was doing pre-internet. So pre-Sports Card Forum or any other online source. You had Jack Smalling's autograph address book, and some of the guys he just didn't have. Eddie Fisher, still a great signer, the great knuckleball relief pitcher. Ken Holtzman. I believe Holtzman still signs through the mail. I'm not 100% sure on that. Clay Dalrymple, Phillies catcher. Yeah, some of them may be personalized. I don't care. That's fine with me. They're not for sale. Clay Dalrymple up in Northern California. Bob Kennedy. Oop. Sliding around. Father of Terry Kennedy. He had a great career himself. That picture is actually when he was managing and coaching for the Cubs. This is the first year the Athletics moved to Oakland. So I used a Cubs picture. Don Locke. He appears on 3 cards with the Phillies. All are headshots with him on the Senators. Shame on you, Topps, for how lazy you were. Dick Kenworthy. He's an interesting story as far as his, let's get that in focus, card history goes. He played 5 years in the majors, all with the White Sox, and is on 0 cards with the White Sox. He was traded to the Mets, and Topps finally printed him, but he never played for the Mets. He ended up back in the minors, but that picture is with the White Sox. So there you go. Joe Horlan, star pitcher of the 1960s for the White Sox. Larry Haney. And you see a lot of these are ballpoint pen, pre-Sharpie. Of course, his 1969 card is the same picture, but Topps reversed the negative when he went to the Seattle Pilots in the expansion draft. Jack Fisher, a hard luck pitcher if there ever was one. Always on teams that had a bad record. And he was, come on now, constantly at the low end of the score. Look at some of his stats. He had 1 winning season when he was 12-11 with the Orioles in 1960. At this point, he had won 74 and lost 122 in his career. He deserved better than that. Jack Fisher. Al Dark. First year managing the Indians. Picture from when he was managing the Giants, which means it's at least 4 years old at the time this card was issued, but that's Topps for you. Billy Bryan, Picture with the Yankees. Steve Barber, who went 8 2/3 of a no-hitter. There he is with the Yankees after he'd had arm trouble with the Orioles. Ended up as a reliever, pitched up through into the mid-70s. Was a school bus driver later. Bill Hands, a 20-game winner for the Cubs. Like it got out of focus again. There we go. And here's a multiplayer card we got. Les Rohr and Ivan Morel. Of course, the weird thing with the Astros in the 68 and the first 3 series of 69 Topps is it won't say Astros, it'll say Houston, and all the logos will be airbrushed out. There was a problem with the owner, who was rather an eccentric individual, and Topps didn't want to take any chances. Suddenly, with the 4 series in 1969, no more airbrushing, all the pictures are normal, and the team name returned. Very odd. Bill White, who later on became president of the American League. Here he is with the Phillies. Great slugger, very underrated. He was the first baseman for the 1964 world champion Cardinals. Ron Swoboda of the Mets. Great catch in the 1969 World Series. Larry Shepard, Pirates manager. His first year as the manager of the Pirates, and in 1969, his only other year as manager, Topps used the same picture again. Felix Mian. I also have Felix on a 1979 TCMA Japanese card. Here he is with the Braves. That unusual picture of the ball coming to him in the foreground of the photo. This one I got earlier this year. It was on the channel. Orlando Pena. He gave you the old double dip. He's down in Florida. Orlando still signs. He also wrote it all over the envelope too. Played with many, many teams. Pitched for a long time. Floyd Robinson. Only spent half of 68 with the Athletics. That picture's with the White Sox. And it would be his last year in the majors. Former All-Star with the White Sox in the early 60s. Bobby Locke. It's another strange case of his card history. He's on 5 Topps cards. All of them show pictures with the Indians. And if you look on the back, the last time he was with the Indians was 1961, which means this picture is 7 years old or older. He'd been with the Angels in 67 the year before, but that's what Topps did. Here's the problem we talked about with the Astros. Norm Miller, no hat in this case, it just says Houston. Ron Peronoski, the great reliever, part of this big trade between the Dodgers and Twins after 1967. He and Bob Miller and John Roseborough went to the Twins for Jim Grant and Zoilo Versalles. Unfortunately for Versalles, he tripped over third base at Dodger Stadium, wrenched his back, and he was never the same. Former MVP. Beautiful card, Bob Rogers. Managed the Angels in the early 90s. Was one of the original Angels. See, back in 1961 he came up. Spent his whole career with them. Larry Sherry, who had the great 1959 World Series. Come on. And his rookie year there with the Dodgers. Here he is on his last year. Astros. Pictures actually with the Tigers. Still not in focus. There. And that was actually, God, he lived near me in Mission Viejo, California. I also got a signed ball from him. Another beautiful card, Jose Tartabull, father of Danny, and his other son, Jose Jr., who played in the minors. Danny, of course, had a very successful major league career. Here's Roy White, Yankee center fielder, took over in center field when Mickey Mantle's knees moved him to first base. and was there through 1979 when he went to Japan in 1980. Bob Barton, Giant catcher. Don Buford, who switched from second base to the outfield with the Orioles. He had just come over in a big trade with the White Sox. Later on went to Japan. Jim Davenport, Giants' longtime third baseman, then coach, managed them briefly. Was one of the members of the 1958 Giants, their first year in San Francisco. Curt Flood was given a bad deal by baseball, and the union didn't back him up when he made the simple point that, how can you trade my contract when I have no contract with you? Which he said to the St. Louis Cardinals, I am not under contract. But he lost his case, even though just a couple years later all that would be overthrown and free agency would begin. There's Flood with the Cardinals. Ron Hansen, 1960 American League Rookie of the Year. One of those guys who made an unassisted triple play. He also had power for a shortstop, especially his era. And they don't want to focus no matter what. And Ron Hansen is still signing. Try one more time. Come on. It doesn't like me. Anyways, he only spent half a year with the Senators when they traded him back to the White Sox, where he had just come from. You see, Chicago. So, here we go. Ralph Houk, longtime Yankees manager, former backup catcher to Yogi Berra. Here's a beautiful card. Love that powder blue of the Cubs. Don Kessinger, their all-star shortstop. I see people still get Kessinger back through the mail. Bob Locker just passed away a couple of weeks ago. Great relief pitcher. Great sinker. Don Mincher, slugging first baseman. Twins, Angels, Athletics, mainly. Light signature, but in a ballpoint. Later on became president of the Southern League in the minors. Jim Perry, Gaylord's brother. The only two brothers to both win the Cy Young Award. Great pitcher. Gary Roggenberg, relief pitcher, also played pro basketball. Here's Bill Short, what would be called a journeyman. Bounced around from team to team, up and down to the minors. Kept coming back up, kept hanging in there. Bob Taylor wrote his nickname Hawk. Some of his cards say Hawk, some of them say Bob. As you can see, he put both on there. Bob Hawk Taylor. Fred Whitfield, slugging first baseman. He had come over to the Reds from the Indians. With the Reds, he was more of a backup and a pinch hitter. Bob Aspromani, he and his brother Ken still sign. He also, when I got that, he sent me a bunch of other stuff to go with it, like postcards and stuff. The Aspromani brothers are great signers. Eddie Brinkman, the great fielding shortstop, Senators, Tigers, mainly. Brother Chuck was a backup catcher with the White Sox. Notice the error. The Senators should be written in yellow, not white, but he and Casey Cox, Senators pitcher, both had the white letters. If you see a yellow letter, it's not a variation of the 68 Topps. It is the Milton Bradley Win-A-Card game card, which both of them were corrected. They both had the yellow Senators because Cox and Brinkman are in there. The Win-A-Card game features some hot rod cards, some 67 Topps football and 68 Topps baseball, some first and second series only. no cards later than that. Brinkman is in there, and there will be the yellow name. This is how it should have looked. The yellow Senators. Tim Cullen made the rookie all-star team in 1967. Andy Etchebarren, Orioles catcher who saved Frank Robinson's life once on a road trip when Robinson got in trouble in a swimming pool and started to go under. Etchebarren jumped in and pulled him out. Jimmy Hall set a record for home runs by a rookie in 1963. Kind of got a crease through the bill of the hat, but ended up never really replicating those numbers. See, he hit 33 home runs in 1963 and 25, 20, 2016, and he would be out of baseball after 1970. Started bouncing around the Angels. He went to the Indians, Yankees, Braves, Cubs. But Jimmy Hall was a very good signer. John Hiller, the Canadian relief pitcher, spent his whole career with the Tigers. Actually survived a heart attack in 1971. Bounced back and kept going. Recent Hall of Fame inductee Jim Kaat. About time. Won nearly 300 games. Pitched from 1960 to 1983. And was a great fielder. Won lots of gold gloves. Also an excellent hitter. Here we have the notorious airbrushed hat. That should be green with the white KC. I mean, we kids knew that the Oakland Athletics were the Kansas City Athletics. We knew that hat was a Kansas City. We knew they were using last year's pictures. They couldn't have taken new pictures yet. But Topps, nevertheless, that's what they did. Paul Lindblad died of early onset Alzheimer's when he was quite young. Excellent relief pitcher. Finished with the Yankees. This is my most recent one. Jim Merritt took a year and a half. I tried him a long time ago. Never got him. Tried him last year. He finally came back. Dagnabbit. He came back. There we go. Just a short time ago. A year and a half after I sent it. Excellent. He was a 20-game winner. Had arm trouble then with the Reds. Ended up with the Rangers. Here he is early on with the Twins. Milt Pappas, who lost a perfect game on a bad umpire call. He walked one batter. And as he said, and he protested and protested, screamed and yelled. He said the pitch was right down the middle. But he called it a ball, and he got the next batter out, and that was it. No hitter. But he was that close to a perfect game. Bill Rigney, the Angels' first manager, their first 8.5 years. Former Giants infielder of the 1950s and 40s, actually. And then later on had already managed the Giants, would manage them again, would manage the Twins. And here he is with the Angels. A real fireballer of his day, Dick Selma. Relief pitcher with the Mets. Gained a lot of fame in '69, the next year with the Cubs, as they made the run toward division title and then folded in August. And the Mets passed him. Selma had already gone to the Padres and the Cubs, and he would go on to the Phillies after that. Ken Suarez was a big college star. Catcher at the Athletics. Here he is, having gone over to the Indians. In the majors, he was a light-hitting catcher. Eddie Watt is still an excellent signer. The Orioles star relief pitcher of the 60s and 70s. And his cards usually say Eddie, but he signs Ed. This thing is driving me nuts. Let's see. Sometimes flipping it over will get it to refocus. No dice. Well, you can see his autograph. Sort of. Make this thing work. There we go. Eddie Watson, Iowa. Here's another double-signed rookie card, the Angels. Chuck Vinson, that's his only card. and they airbrushed it because it's an LA Angels hat instead of the CA California Angels. Then Jim Weaver, who's also in the 69 set, with one of those terrible notations on the back, Jim was sent to the minors, such and such a date. But there they are. Bob Bailey, long, long career, wearing the Dodgers powder blue you see on cards in 68 and 67. They wore it in 67. That's a spring training shot at Vero Beach. Bob Bailey was from Long Beach, California, and had the only 2 lousy years of his career when he was playing at home with the Dodgers in 67 and 68. They let him go in the expansion to Montreal in 69, and he ended up being an all-star. Played with the Expos and kept going up with the he was with the Reds and the Red Sox, but a long career. Started with the Pirates. Here's Reds manager Dave Bristol. Again, the ballpoint signature, kind of light. Ray Culp. First 2 cards with the Red Sox show pictures of him on the Cubs, but his only card with the Cubs shows a picture of him on the Phillies. It's just classic top stuff of that time. Roy Face, the great relief pitcher, went 18-1 in 1959. He's still signing, and he usually signs Elroy, his full name. Most of his cards say Roy. Be nice if you could see this one. This was his last year with the Pirates. He'd spent his whole career with them. And he would get traded to Detroit and get to play on a World Series winner with the 68 Tigers. Then he went to the expansion Expos in 69, his last year. Tom Haller, Giants catcher, was actually already a member of the Dodgers when this card came out. Another big trade. This thing is not cooperating. Later on, he would be general manager of the Giants. His brother Bill was an American League umpire. That is not focusing. Chuck Hinton had been with the Indians, came to the Angels 1 year, went back to the Indians, where he played through 1971. And we are just not going to focus. Getting on my nerves. You see, he'd been Senators, Indians, 1 year with the Angels in 68, didn't hit much, went back to the Indians. There we go. I did much better. That shot is with the Indians. He was playing first base in the first game I ever attended, Yankees at Angels, August 1968. I was just a little kid. Al Kaline, Hall of Famer, was still answering at home. I sent this to his house and he sent it right back. Phil Linz, the utility man, Yankees, Mets, Phillies. It's his last year. Picture with the Yankees. Gene Michael, future Yankees manager, executive, and a bunch of other stuff with them. Here he is when he got to the Yankees in 68 from the Dodgers. That picture is with the Dodgers. Great Cuban pitcher Camilo Pascual. A little hard to see it. That shot is with the... He's another one of these. 3 cards with the Senators in the late 60s. All have headshots of him on the Twins. Outfielder Bill Robinson with the Yankees. Went out of focus again. He was part of a big trade. The Yankees sent Clete Boyer to the Braves for him. He was the Yankees' top prospect. Boyer was one of the best third basemen in baseball. And had a great year for the Braves, while Robinson really struggled with the Yankees. They got rid of him. He ended up back in the minors, but he reemerged in 1972 with the Phillies and went on to play way into the 80s as a very excellent Major League outfielder and hitter. But he really struggled with the Yankees early on. Carol Sambura, Astros. Again with the old airbrush special due to the rights issue. Another one that just came back, Darryl Sutherland, brother of Gary, who's with the Phillies in this set. Daryl's up in Oregon, pitched with the Mets, briefly with the Indians. Al Wise, utility guy, but he had a home run in the 1969 World Series for the Mets. Pictures with the White Sox, part of a big trade he had just come over. 68 Phillies rookie card, Larry Colton, Dick Thonen. The grand total of games played for them added together is 2. 2 major league games, I believe. Come on. There we go. And both live in Oregon. Another person living in Oregon, former reliever Dave Baldwin. Saw one collector recently got him back and had written him and said, does he ever keep in contact with anyone from baseball? He said no. The only people that he hears from are just fans for autographs. So, yeah, let's see if we can. We are not getting any help. But yeah, Dave still signs, and he'll send out some custom cards he's had made of himself with the White Sox, the Brewers, because there's no, his Topps cards are all with the Senators. He has a Brewers card, but it's just a headshot. I'll try to do something here to get this thing to wake up. There we go. So yeah, he's a very willing signer and loves hearing from the fans. Here's Larry Brown, Indians shortstop. His brother Dick had been a catcher. White Sox and Orioles. George Culver, another great signer. On some of his cards, he'll write the date of his no-hitter he threw for the Reds. This is when they'd first acquired him from the Indians. That picture is with the Indians. Here's a half a rookie card. Never got Jim Ray. Never had an address for him, and he died quite some time ago. But I recently got Mike Ferraro, who had always been difficult because he had some address in Alaska and he wasn't there. But he's in Las Vegas. Steve Hamilton, one of the few pitchers to throw the eephus pitch, or the folly floater. Always signed with the star over the I in Hamilton, as you can see. And it's a great shot of him with the Yankees. Also played in the NBA with the Lakers, and later on was a athletic director, I think for Morehead State, I think was his school, and in Kentucky. So, long career as a relief pitcher. Another good reliever of that era, Joe Horner of the Cardinals. He died rather young in an accident, a farming accident, so if you were looking for an autographed card from him, there you go. That's what it should look like. Here's Bill Kelso. Been a rookie card with the Angels, but here's his only full card with the Reds. Picture with the Angels. He'd be back in the minors. Another longtime reliever of the time, Frank Lindsay. Made the 1965 Rookie All-Star team. Pete Mickelson, it's strange because after 1968, Topps never printed him again, but he pitched through 1972. Never heard a reason why. He's not on another card. He didn't go to the minors. He ended up with the Dodgers. He's on nothing. The only thing you can get on Mickelson is a Dodgers Ticketron set, and he's in there. But no Topps card, no explanation. Where he'd been in every Topps set from 64 to 68. So go figure. Don Pavletich, power hitting catcher for the Reds. Backup catcher. Could play a little bit of infield if you needed him to. The great Brooks Robinson, that was in person at a card show. Of course, that's an older picture. They had switched from the block letter uniform. But if you look at 68 Orioles cards, there's about 5 different uniforms you'll get shots of. Don Shaw. Went to Montreal the next year in the expansion draft, Mets pitcher. Here's Daryl's brother Gary with the Phillies. Later became a scout with the Angels. Don Wirt, the Tigers starting third baseman for their world champion team this year. I believe that's Norm Cash in the background looking over and smiling. And then a double Tigers rookie card, George Corrance and Fred Lasher. Have pictures with the Twins, but he never was called up with the Twins. So there we go. That'll be our first installment. We'll have another one coming soon with more autographs. Thanks a lot. See you next time. Bye.